William Shakespeare is regarded as one of the best playwrights of all time. His comedies, and particularly his tragedies, have evoked painfully real emotions in audiences all around the world for centuries. Othello, Romeo and Juliet, and Hamlet are universally known works by Shakespeare. Where did he draw his inspiration in order to create them? How did Shakespeare intertwine such powerful emotions throughout his work? Did he experience them himself? His personal matters of love were complex, lengthy, and may have been the inspiration for his amazing works. Shakespeare was married to Anne Hathaway in November of 1582. There is much debate over whether he meant to marry her or was forced to. In the town's church records, it indicates two different Annes. Was Shakespeare in love with one and lust with the other, or was it simply a mistake on the part of the church clerk who recorded the information? Some believe Shakespeare was forced to marry Anne because he impregnated her out of wedlock. The couple welcomed their first child 5 months after they were married, a daughter named Susanna. Later, Anne gave birth to twins, another daughter named Judith and a son named Hamnet. Hamnet tragically died at the age of 11 of unknown causes. Shakespeare's marriage seemed very basic, a typical early modern marriage, a union of convenience based around producing heirs, but there was more to this playwright's love life, a lot more. Through his sonnets, it became apparent that there were other prominent romantic figures in Shakespeare's life. We start with the fair youth. The sonnet sequence 1 through 126 is focused on a character whom Shakespeare may have experienced platonic or sexual love with. Famously depicted in Sonnet 18 as comparable to a summer's day, the fair youth could have been a young woman or man. Sonnet 20 leans heavily towards a young man. Was Shakespeare homosexual, or simply a fatherly figure in a boy's life? Historians have narrowed down the search for the fair youth. There are candidates from both sexes. Either way, this love would have been forbidden, as Shakespeare was a married man and the fair youth was obviously much younger than him. When the sonnet sequence 127 through 154 moves on to describe the Dark Lady, the love between her and Shakespeare is most certainly sexual. Sonnet 151 is a graphic depiction of his infidelity. She was most likely called the Dark Lady because of her complexion, which Shakespeare described as dark and lustful. Shakespeare certainly wasn't a bore when it came to romantic affairs. His love life was as historic as his plays. There were dozens more reported affairs Shakespeare had with actors, high-ranking citizens, or even commoners. It seems as though the highs and lows of these affairs shone through in his literary work. Even so, we thank Shakespeare and all of his lovers for contributing such amazing love stories to society.